Check, testing. Check two. Check, test.
Did he throw out the sibilants?
I see the world like I've never seen before. And for that one thing, I'll always bring my dog.
Rolling.
My dog.
Hey guys, Mark here from Red Star again, and today I'm joined with my dear friend Steve Powell, the dock diving diplomat dignitary. No, seriously, Steve is heavily involved in dock diving, and I think it's probably the fastest growing dog sport here in the U.S., right?
I would agree.
Yep. So I thought, why not have Steve on? He's super involved. He can just answer some questions for me and kind of just bring to light dock diving in general, because a lot of people get to see it, but they don't really know too much about it. They just see dogs jumping. You know, if they go to the county fair, it's at a lot of these types of events. So anyway, Steve, great to have you on.
Thank you.
My buddy. I've known Steve for a while. He's got Malinois, and you've been involved in this for how many years?
This is my third year now. It hasn't been real long, but boy, it's kind of just escalated.
Yeah, it went quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we told you not to do it.
Right.
Yeah, we said, no, don't quit your job, and you did it, and it's been great and successful.
It's been real good to me.
Yeah. So, but tell us how you got going in this, because that's kind of a cool story, I think.
People probably get sick of hearing it.
Yeah, well, I don't know a lot of our people haven't heard
Yeah,
it.
maybe not.
Yeah.
So I went, like we were just talking, everybody else that has, gone to like an event, seen dogs jumping.
Yeah.
We had found out there was going to be one in town, and me and Jeff from Newburgh, we went there and thought, oh, this is going to be no big deal. Jeff has his lab, I think it was 11-year-old Malinois.
Rainy.
Yeah, Rainy. Alex went with us.
Yeah.
And
Alex sends his regards, by the way. He couldn't be here. He's in class.
That's sad. Well,
yeah.
you got to get it somewhere, right?
Yeah, he said something like, or I said, Steve will call you when you have no class.
Right.
Anyway, sorry. So you're at this event.
No, so it was kind of funny because my dog at the time, I had never gone swimming with him, nothing. So we quick ran out to Jeff's. He lives on a lake. Mm-hmm. We're like, hey, we can teach our dogs to swim. We'll have them jump off Jeff's dock. It won't be no big deal. Me and Alex were just like pumped. It was like, this is going to be the greatest thing ever. Mm-hmm. So we go out to Jeff's and we get my dog in the water, and I'm like, oh, cool, that's no problem. Swimming, he came back, went to go for the dock, and yeah, he wasn't a big fan of that at first. So Jeff's like, well, hey, let's get a bite pillow. Mm-hmm. Started idea of just let's see what'll happen. Hold up the bite pillow, he jumps at one time, and he's like, yep, nope, I'm good. Came back. I was like, well, we'll go see what happens. So we went to the event. And
so he made one jump off the dock and you went?
At Jeff's, yep. So we went to the event, got there, and, of course, there had to be like a couple hundred people there at least. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, well, here comes our turn. Mm-hmm. Go up on the dock, and, his obedience was great. That was about it.
Yeah.
He come running down. I threw the toy in, and it was nothing. Excuse me. And I just sat there thinking, boy,
What did he do? He stopped
He just stopped right at the end of the dock. Yeah. I thought, boy, this is kind of dumb.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
What you thought? What was dumb? You thought what the dog is doing is dumb, or this whole thing is dumb?
No, I just thought that I was going to this event, paying this money, mm-hmm. and I had no idea what I was doing and no way to train for it.
Yeah.
And I just thought, my dog ain't afraid of crap, and
mm-hmm.
he ain't. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But it's something that every dog does, and I'm learning that. Well, not learning it. I've been learning it now.
Yeah.
But no, so I don't know. It's kind of an odd solution to the problem. But I thought, well, why don't I just build a dock and put up a pool? I got some land out of town, and I thought that's my solution. Well, one night I was talking with Ed, and Ed's like, well, we're buying a new building. Why don't you put it up there? Mm-hmm. Okay, now I got at least a really nice location, and everything will go good.
So wait, we got to go back just a minute.
Okay.
So you went to this event, and we'll talk about the events in a second. But you went to the event, and you didn't do. You failed essentially.
Yeah, I failed. All I could just do was stand up there and kind of laugh with my dog laughing at me,
But you thought somewhere inside you thought, I want to do this.
Right.
I'm going to go home and build a huge, enormous dock and put in a huge, enormous pool.
Nobody said I was smart, Mark.
Yeah. Well, that's determination. I mean, you do. But the reality, though, is that at that time, there were no docks.
No,
there were no pools.
There still really isn't.
No, yeah.
I mean, there's some on the other side of the state. There's one down in southern Minnesota.
Yeah.
But other than that, there was nowhere to go train and to,
And you must have really liked it. You must have liked
I
it.
did.
Yeah.
Some of it was, yes, I really liked it, but the other part of it was I didn't like the idea that I could not learn how to train my dog to do this other than going to events.
Yeah. Oh, sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
Like, the history with me and you. I wanted to find a place where I could take my dog and train him that wouldn't mind that he was a German Shepherd, wouldn't mind that he, wanted to do whatever he did, and I wanted to do bite work.
Yeah.
And I just thought, well, why can't I Google this and find it like nearby?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing, is it was just like, why? I just wanted to solve a problem.
Yeah.
Maybe stupid, and it was all for my dog, but
Well, it didn't end up being stupid, but it's dramatic.
Yeah,
it's extreme.
Yep.
You could say,
Right.
But you kind of roll that way. I mean,
Sometimes.
that's how I've known
might
you.
as well jump in with both feet.
So here we are 3 years later, 3 seasons later.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And now, okay, so I guess instead of jumping three years
Right.
ahead, let's go back. So then you ended up, Learberg.
Yep.
Ed Frowley at Learberg, who's a dear friend of both of ours.
Right.
He decided to put this pool
Yep.
up, and then so that's essentially though. What happened is the interesting thing is you started actually training.
Right.
Before that, you had no concept how to train. You just
No
thought,
idea.
oh, this, throw the,
Yep.
throw the.
But
It's interesting too because I remember talking to you about this said event,
Right.
And I, not knowing anything either, I thought, okay, well, your dog's nuts. Like, sure, you
Right.
throw a toy in there, he's gonna go. He's not gonna care.
Yep.
I thought he had very little self-preservation. Alex's dog had already jumped off a
Yep.
dock, and but it wasn't a six. It was a funny deal.
Right.
But then did Brian go too?
No, Brian couldn't make it.
Brian didn't go. See, I wanted Brian to go with Gypsy because Gypsy had jumped off a dock before. But the reality is, if your dog jumps off a dock, like at Jeff's or like at the lake down the road, it's nothing like the dock.
Absolutely nothing.
And neither in the pool, is a weird thing too. So once you get the pool set up, and you get the dock built, which is an underpinning, right? It's a big deal, right?
Right,
So you get that going, and then you start kind of manning this pool where you were renting it out for a certain period of time because the dock diving, while it's growing, it's an easy sport to get into, and we'll talk about that too. So you were pretty busy right away.
Oh yeah.
So, but then you found yourself helping people.
Yeah.
And through that, you kind of had some observations that made you start to think about it from a training perspective and not just let's go throw the toy and jump the dog off the dock. What were some of the things you thought of or you experienced that way?
So what you basically have is you got the clear water, which will always throw dogs off.
Okay.
You got the ramp, which a lot of dogs haven't seen a ramp before.
The ramp being the
ramp to go in and out of the pool.
To come out of because they have to climb up a ramp to get out of the water.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So it just, I was lucky enough that I had you, I had Forrest, I had Cindy, I had, a lot of people that I could ask questions if I had them. I could kind of learn as I went. Mm-hmm. But what was kind of odd is that what I found is I was kind of like just figuring it out, but it was weird because it was like I could just tell, a dog was sketchy about the ramp or a dog was, just whatever. Mm-hmm. They just didn't seem like they were interested in the toy. It was all just things that all you got to do is observe.
Yeah.
Which just I didn't think would come to me, but it kind of did.
What did you end up having to modify, though, to like you saw a dog who wasn't that interested in the toy?
Yep. So then you take them up on the dock, you kind of play with them, kind of get that toy drive going. And,
make drive.
Yeah, build the drive. It's all kind of the same stuff we had done. And I had just kind of incorporated it into that. But, it just, I don't know, kind of not came naturally. But, I paid attention to where I'd notice different dogs seeing different things and just kind of try to help them overcome whatever that might be.
Are you finding that you're able to use some of the same methods across, not the same method from dog to dog, but you're able to see some similarities and then go, I tried this last time?
Yep, you see a lot of similarities. Obviously every dog has that, well, I shouldn't say every, a lot of dogs have that 2-foot drop. They just can't.
Yeah,
get
that's
past
the
it.
other thing is it's really
Right.
It's because I did it one time.
Yep.
I mean, I went out when you had your dock and for a Learberg Fun Day, and I kind of ended up helping some people
Yep.
and stuff. But I did it one time with Chopin where
Yep.
I think we didn't jump off the dock. We only
Nope,
jumped
nope.
off the ramp, and
Yep.
you were like, "You should jump him off the dock," and I said, "No, I don't want to, guy,"
Right, right.
whatever. So, but how many dogs would you say? Just so people when they go and
Yep.
they try, they're not discouraged. What is the percentage of dogs that the first time they hit that thing, they don't want to go in?
I would say 10%.
10%. Wait,
10% will.
go in.
Yes, because, and maybe that number's a little skewed, but that's just based off of what I see.
Yeah.
But I mean, the thing I find is that everybody wants to see that dog make that leap.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah.
even if you tell them, hey, let's come to the ramp, let's work the ramp, get the dog jumping above the water on the ramp,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll transition to the dock, once the dog's confidence build up, or we see at least where they sit.
Yeah.
Everybody will come up on that dock and they will fling that toy out 40 feet into the water and they will be, why ain't my dog jumping? Just like I did.
Yeah.
And it's just a common thing that everybody wants to see. You're not there to watch your dog go down a ramp.
Yeah.
You're not there to watch
sure.
your dog swim. I get it. I've been there.
Sure. So all right, dock diving. Before we get into what you're doing now, we'll get to that later.
Yep.
Dock diving in general. So it's a really easy sport to just go. Very few of these dog activities that we can do
Right.
require there's lure coursing and there's barn hunt now and there's these other things where you can kind of just show up with your Jack Russell and see how it
Right.
goes. Dock diving is one of them, and that's why it's very attractive
Yep.
because a lot of people with normal lives don't have time to train.
Exactly.
And when you're training for obedience or especially, protection, whatever, tracking, takes up so much time. So this sport, you can kind of show up and play. And then it is really, from the one experience I had a really good time with
Right.
my own dog. It was
Yeah.
really, it's like, yeah, this is kind of fun.
Right.
So how many different kinds of jumps are there? And tell us what the idea is behind the whole entire thing, if you could.
So, I guess you mean like distance jump, air retrieve.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm part of North America Diving Dogs. That's the organization I decided to join. I wanted to be part of.
Okay.
And we have distance jump splashes.
Each jump is called a splash.
Yeah. Well, yes.
No? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just basically what you try to do is just get your dog to jump, go as far as they possibly can, and we measure to the tail set where the tail meets the butt. It's all
That would be so where the tail lands in the
yep.
meets the butt lands in the water. That's the distance.
that
the
is the
dog jump.
distance we're measuring to. Yes, sir.
Okay. That's for which particular jump?
For the distance jumping.
Okay.
Then we also have the air retrieve. With the air retrieve, it's a toy hanging on a specific toy hanging on a rig, and that rig starts at, depending on lap dog or
Lap dog being small dog.
Yep, lap is less than 16 inches at the withers. So starting at that, you go, either they start at 4 feet and it's 2 foot above the dock and we move out in 1 foot increments the whole way.
4 feet distance from the dock.
Yep.
And 2 feet
2
up.
feet up, yep.
Okay.
And it's a very specific toy that we have. And we just, as every grab they get, we move it out a foot.
You go in 1 foot increments.
Yep.
That's pretty hefty.
Yep. And then for open, we call it, which is dogs 16 inches and bigger, that starts at 6 feet, 2 feet above the dock, moving out 1 foot increments the same way.
Starts at 6 feet as
Yep.
opposed to 4 feet for a dog under 16
Yep, that is
inches.
new actually this year.
So a dog who's like 15 3/4
Is a lap dog.
is a lap dog. Does he have an advantage over, say, a dog who's 16 and a half?
It's just the category that they're put in.
Yeah. So Yeah. So so they're going to get the whatever. So just
Yep.
So it's basically under 16 and over 16.
Yep. That's the only two divisions we do have.
So you have so there's basically just 2 jumps.
Yep.
Yep. A distance jump and the air retrieve, which is kind of a mix of a distance and a height jump.
Yep,
It sounds
yep.
like. And the dog has to actually.
It has to knock it off the rig. It don't have to technically get it. It just have to, I mean, I've seen dogs kick it off with their back legs. I've seen dogs hit it with their neck. I've seen them, all sorts of ways.
Well, it's suspended, and that's
Yep.
a very tricky thing for a
Right.
dog to, navigate or it's like a cord. It's tricky. It's tricky.
Right.
It is. Yeah.
Right.
For it to be suspended in the air
Yep.
as opposed to.
That is, some dogs are quite hard one to get over. They are so used to seeing the toy either get thrown or see it sitting in the water with, let's say, a place and send, it's called, where you throw the toy out, then they run out and get it. But yeah, once you put it in that rig and in that perspective, they have a tendency to just be like, what are you trying to get me to do?
Yeah, they got to figure it out.
Yep.
So, is it about equal number of participants that participate in both the jumps?
Not really. I mean, air retrieve is getting bigger. But as far as, some dogs just, the people either don't want them to do it or they have never tried it. But no.
It's more complicated for sure.
Well, it's not really more complicated, I wouldn't say, but it's a lot more work on the dog's part. On the other hand, it also there are actually some dogs that can jump a little bit further if they have the air retrieve versus the distance throwing.
Really?
Because what it boils down to is your throw. If I'm throwing my toy goes flying over to 6 feet, and your dog is actually tracking the toy, that dog's going to 6 feet.
It's all about the throw.
Right. It is.
And that's that's one thing that's nice to have you there too, because if you're watching all these dogs, do you guys you can navigate when to throw the toy and when you're going to get the most out of your jump.
Oh yeah.
But we used to, my familiarity is the long jump.
Yep.
And I was such a stickler about counting steps and
Yep.
stuff. Is it the same thing?
So there's, I mean, as far as like...
When I say counting steps, I mean be very... make sure I know exactly where the dog is starting so I can count his strides before he takes off, so he's at the maximum point.
Yeah, because actually, once your dog jumps off the dock, that is the easy part.
Yeah.
Because then from there, you got to figure out stride.
Yeah.
You got to figure out what distance you want to be at with them on the dock.
Yeah.
Air retrieve, you got to figure out where you move them. You might set your dog up at, let's say, 15 feet for 10 feet to 15 feet. Then you move them back to 20 feet when they start going over, and then keep moving them back in whatever that increment is that your dog is set for, that their natural stride is just going to play out for.
Okay, so do you find that when you give a dog more distance, they're able to jump farther?
Sometimes. Actually, I will say probably most of the time.
Most of the time?
Yep.
But sometimes there's an exception where a dog can just generate a ton of power from a short distance.
If you got a dog that can do 100 miles an hour down the dock,
he doesn't need much room.
Just because more distance isn't always going to give them better distance.
Yeah,
as far as the jump.
In the jump goes.
Right.
Yeah. So how many? So if one were to go to one of these events, right? How many? I know that when I've talked to you, I get confused, but there's like 3 splashes here and something here, and so if I was going to go to an event with my dog and say I've trained enough to where the dog is comfortable, and I'm on the average scale, how many jumps would I end up doing in a day?
So at a facility, you have usually 4 splashes and an air retrieve per day.
Okay, per dog.
Yep. So that means you can go up there and you can do an optional practice and 2 judge jumps, and we always take the best of the 2.
Okay.
Or you can go up there and just do 2 jumps. You don't want to practice. You don't believe in practicing.
Yeah.
You think your dog's going to jump the biggest the first throw.
Yeah.
Maybe your arm's feeling good that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get 4 jumps total. That's all you get.
Yep.
And then one of them, if you use one, you can use one of them as a practice. Is
Your
that what you're
first
saying?
one can be a practice, and all this is basically just with NAD. That is
With your
where
organization.
I'm coming from. Yes.
So with this is what you know. So if I were to use a practice jump, would I still get 4 other jumps plus an air retrieve? Or no?
And this is where the whole splash comes in. So each judged jump is what we consider a splash.
Okay.
So you're signing up for a splash. You get either 2 judge jumps right away or an optional practice. Your practice would be your first one, and then your second 2 would be judged.
Okay, so
if you choose.
So the people who wouldn't choose maybe would be because they don't want they want to preserve all the power and strength.
Right.
They don't want to waste a jump.
Some dogs get tired. Some dogs, do better with more jumps. I mean, my dog, I can practice with him and do 2 jumps, and he gets better as he goes.
So you jump. So essentially, you're jumping. 2 or 3 times. You take the best score of that, and then do you end up having another round later on in the day?
Yeah. Then there'll be another splash, and with the mobiles, you get
Mobiles being?
Mobile docks that we have that we
Okay.
go around the country with.
Okay.
But with the mobile, we go to like AKC clusters, they're called, where they have confirmation going on. They maybe have agility, rally.
It's a dog. It's a big dog show.
Yeah, it's a big dog show. So to make it easy on our competitors, what we do is we take and just give them cards. So at a mobile, you have 3 splashes in a day. But those 3, you're given 3 cards, and you can turn them in at any time during the day. So let's say you got rally at noon and you got confirmation at 1. You can come to us in the morning, get your name on the board, and you can do all 3 of your splashes right then and there, depending on where the board ends up.
If they have confirmation in the afternoon, I don't know if they'll be doing splashes in the morning.
No. Some people really have to think
Like the
about
Great
that. They're like, well,
Pyrenees.
let's see, I got to go get my dog brushed and dried. And,
sure.
and we hear it all the time, and it's actually pretty funny.
That's fun, though.
Yeah,
That's
it is.
It's fun.
Just all the mental things that go into how they plan out their day.
So it is pretty user-friendly.
That's the way we try to make it on purpose. So that way, we want everybody to have fun, because I will tell you, this is just what I've seen.
Yeah.
When dogs are in confirmation, they nowhere near looking as happy as they are when they're jumping in the water at the dock.
Well, yeah, I mean, confirmation, and I dabbled in that stuff with the poodles a little bit,
Yep.
and it's
Hey,
a whole nother.
It is.
Hey, but those the same thing. People are passionate about what they're
got
doing,
that
and they're
right.
trying to achieve perfection in every way, and God bless them.
yeah,
I
I'm
think
not
it's great.
saying I could do it.
It's just not my particular. I was so tired from standing. I mean, you probably get tired. Let's go back to you and not talk about confirmation. So now you're traveling with a mobile dock.
Yeah, that's a
And
whole nother piece.
Now you're from our area.
Yep.
You're from the western Wisconsin, eastern Minnesota area, and now you're going. Every time I talk to you, you're somewhere. So you're traveling to these events and setting up this mobile dock, hauling this thing around the country.
Oh yeah,
How long is this trailer you're
40
hauling?
feet.
40-foot trailer, and in that trailer is the dock and the pool.
Yep, you got everything. We're self-contained.
Yeah.
Other than the water, because that would just be weird. But
And then you go. Yeah. Oh, that's funny. Some bladder system.
right.
Anyway, so you arrive at the event, and then you fill up the pool.
Yep.
And so you're going to all different kinds of places. You've been to. I mean, you've literally been at. How far west have you gone now?
Colorado.
Yep. Okay, but you do with your organization, which is North American
Diving dogs.
Dock Diving. North American Diving Dogs.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Let's get that right.
But I know it as NAD.
Yep.
So you cover a certain region?
Yeah, I'm actually called the North Central Dock.
Okay.
So I go basically from what's on the west? The Rockies, yes.
Colorado, yeah.
Colorado area. Anywhere from there, basically, I just got back from Maryland. I'm going to go to New York. I go to Ohio. I go to Pittsburgh.
So you go all the way to the East Coast.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. South Texas, stuff like that?
I went down to an event in Oklahoma here a couple weeks ago. That was to help out one of our other docks. We go to Florida every year for nationals.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I could be anywhere. Now we're into Canada with the CKC.
Really?
Yeah.
That's cool.
Well, we'll see. I
they're
have
cool.
yet to have to go there. I'm not saying it ain't cool. Not saying Canada isn't
You haven't
cool.
been to Canada?
No, I've never been.
Oh, man. You're in for a treat.
That's what
Where are you going? Are you going to Toronto?
Well, there was a thing where I was supposed to go to Toronto, but it got canceled. Yeah.
Toronto.
That's what I hear.
I mean, I haven't been to Montreal, but I've been to Winnipeg. I've been to Toronto. I've been to... haven't been to Vancouver either. I've never really met a Canadian I didn't like, honestly.
We both know Megan.
Who's Megan? Apparently I don't...
You know Megan? Cindy's friend Megan.
I don't know if I know Megan.
You know Megan.
No.
She's
But I
from
know...
Canada. You probably would know her if you've seen her.
But I know a ton of Canadians, and I've worked there as a government employee back when I was playing music and stuff. So I know, and they're great. They're just so wonderful experience.
Yep.
You're gonna have a great time up there. You're gonna love it.
We'll see.
Now I wouldn't want to haul
Fingers
that.
crossed if I get to go there.
I wouldn't want to haul that dock through.
Oh no! If I go there, it
customs.
ain't hopefully going to be hauling anything.
It isn't. Oh, you would just go up and.
I might have to go up there and, if there's somebody that needs training done to get trained in or anything and they can't make it down here, I might have to go up there and train that way.
Okay.
It's all kind of just starting, so we'll see how it plays out.
Well, I hope that works out for you.
Right?
Canada's
Well, now
great.
you got me excited about it.
Yeah. Oh, you should be. I'm telling you, Toronto. We'll talk about that later. Toronto's just a great, no illegal things going on here between me and Steve, but it's an absolutely
That's
great
cool.
city. I've been there twice or 3 times. Anyway, so what are some of the interesting things that you see out at these events? I mean, a huge turnout, right? So you've got, and especially when you get into these, like you said, cluster
Yep.
situations. So you've got, I mean, we all know how big confirmation is, and agility's huge, and especially from what we're coming from,
Right.
Which you were doing ring with me,
Yeah.
and it's like the numbers are still the same.
Right.
I was talking to Dave the other day, and the numbers are still the same. There's hardly anybody there. There's as many people in ring as show up at one of your events on one day, essentially. I mean, you get anywhere from how many. So a splash is basically 2 or potentially 3 jumps, correct?
Right.
So how many splashes a day are you running at an average event?
We've had, just with my dock, anywhere from 150 to 500
500
over a weekend, yeah.
over the weekend.
Yep.
Okay, so 500 splashes over the weekend.
Yep.
If you say so, that would be 1,000 jumps essentially on the
No, well, yeah.
on the minimum scale.
Yes, you are correct.
So maybe you have some doing the practice thing. So
Right.
1,000 jumps, that's a lot. And you're there, emceeing the whole thing.
Well, we know how I am with a microphone.
Yeah,
I'm there. I'm
yeah.
talking to people.
Yeah, I'm sure it's working.
No
out.
microphone.
But you're there, you're present, you're making
Yep.
sure everything's flowing
Yep.
smoothly. That's a lot
I'm
of
doing
work.
my best.
It's a long day.
Yeah. No, it can be, but you know what? It's
You love it.
enjoyable. I do.
You love it.
I mean,
Yeah.
the traveling, getting to places on time is probably the worst, and that ain't even always that bad.
Yeah.
Other than I did have to drive into New York City with it one time.
You did.
And I'm going to be doing it again here in May.
Was it rough?
Well, good thing the traffic wasn't moving fast like in Minneapolis where everybody's bobbing and weaving,
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
But no, in New York, it was actually kind of funny. I had just had it so built up in my head that it was
How
just
terrible
gonna
it was going to be.
insane.
Yeah.
And so my way to calm myself down was I rolled down my windows and I cranked Frank Sinatra, New York, New York.
Yeah.
People were going by me, honking horns, laughing, looking at me like I was nuts.
Because you
But-
get this enormous trailer.
right,
and you're
but I
with
was like, you know
Wisconsin
what?
plates.
I'm just going to sit here and enjoy myself as much as I possibly can.
And it ended up working out.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It went well.
Well, you're one of the very, very few.
Right.
You're not in the statistical
No, I'm sure I'm not.
analysis. No.
It was the best I could do.
So, that's so many. Does it get a little bit chaotic at times?
Yeah, it can.
Yeah.
The main thing is you're always trying to make sure everybody's having a good time.
Sure.
You're always trying to make sure everybody's
On
happy.
time, though, I
On
bet.
time,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, when you do a bigger event, you got to make sure things are running very tight.
Yeah.
And our biggest thing is we always just try to do our best to accommodate any kind of conflicts. Like somebody comes up and says, hey, I got to be in the ring in 15, 20 minutes. What can I do? Or I'm not going to be able to make it back till 4 o'clock. Each one of us that runs the mobile docks, we're constantly just trying to make sure everybody's happy. We're doing it for the same reason they are. Everybody got into it. Everybody loves it. Mm-hmm. And you want everybody to have the same amount of fun that you want to have. Mm-hmm. We're all a little bit different.
Yeah.
But, essentially we're all trying to give you our version of fun.
Yeah. Is the competition pretty? I mean, the competition is obviously fierce because you're talking inches, right?
Well, with NAD, what we do is we're tied in with the AKC where you actually can earn titles for dock diving.
Sure.
So we're not really, other than at nationals, we're not really competitively based or at a qualifier. At a qualifier, you want to get your dog qualified. So obviously in your division, which we have novice, junior, senior, master, and elite.
What are the differences between those?
So that just breaks it down. So let's say you got a, and I don't want to call out any dogs is not jumping as good. We'll use 2 easy comparisons. Let's say you got a lab that's 10 years old. I got a lab that's a year and a half.
Okay.
My lab can jump 24 feet.
Yeah.
Your lab, the best jump you're going to get probably from now on, let's say, and I'm not saying that they don't.
Be realistic.
Yeah, but I'm just putting it out there, is that let's say your dog no longer is going to jump 18 feet that it did. Now it's only jumping 12 feet.
12, yeah.
So you're only going to compete against the dogs that are jumping in that junior division.
Junior to senior division. Junior division?
You got novice, which is basically 6 inches to, an inch to 9'11". Then you got Boy, and I hope I'm right on us. So this from my memory. You'd
Good.
think I better be.
Good. Put you on the spot.
Right?
Yeah.
And then you got 10 feet to 1411 is junior.
Okay.
And then 15 to, boy, this is going to be the rough one. 19 feet 11.
15 to 19 feet
Yep.
11. Just shy of 20 feet.
Yep. Is going to be your senior. And then...
So senior is no reflection of age. It's
No, it's nothing about
experience
age.
and
Exactly.
ability. Okay, so then you get your senior
Yep.
is up to 20 feet essentially, and then you have your expert,
Masters.
masters,
Yep.
which is
And that'll be 20 to 2311.
okay.
And then elite is basically 24 and up.
What's the record so far? What's the longest jump in?
30 feet 9
Tail to
to the tail set. Yep.
so that's 30 feet 9 to the tail. So that's where the dog's rear end landed. 30 feet 9. What kind of dog was that? Malamo?
No.
Lab?
Boy, you're really putting me on the spot here, Mark.
Come on. 30 feet 9. Chesapeake?
I want to say it was a mix. Ooh, boy. Here, let's just not insult anybody and let's let me look this
Hey,
up.
this technology, it's just
I know.
fine.
I got my phone. I can't remember everything. This thing,
Just
I
put it
definitely
away
should.
after this. That's all.
I'm
I
gonna.
ask. Don't start, calling friends and
Right.
stuff. And
Hey, look at me. No. Let's go. So
30 feet 9. That's insane.
that is nuts.
The dock again, 2 feet above.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Oh boy, we just got this brand new. Oh boy,
What did you get?
we got a brand new
Website?
website and everything done.
Mm-hmm. NAD.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And now
What's the website?
NorthAmericaDivingDogs.com.
NADD.com?
Nope, NorthAmericaDivingDogs.com.
NorthAmericanDivingDogs.com.
Right.
Okay.
Boy, this is.
So 30.
I'm gonna get fired. You realize that, right?
Yeah, that was the objective of
Right.
today's interview.
Right.
Get you back home, man. I miss you.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. No, so that was obviously elite. Elite is the highest. Masters and then elite. Right?
Yep. This,
What kinds so labs probably, this whole thing probably started with labs. And it started at least, I think my first dock diving event on television for sure 10 years ago.
Yep.
If not more. Maybe even 20 years ago. It was a long time ago. So it kind of was slow to go in the beginning, huh?
Yeah, there's other organizations that have been around and have kind of been building it. What actually is just NAD kind of broke. A few of the competitors broke off themselves and kind of formed the organization, and it's been growing. Deb that owns NAD, she's been nothing but great to me, and it's actually pretty fun. But you ever get a chance to watch her up on the dock playing with her dogs? That's what it's there for, to go
Yeah.
up and have fun with your.
Do you still jump your dog?
Oh yeah, my dog jumps.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he loves it. The
Yeah.
dog's nuts. It don't matter how cold the water is.
Yeah.
No, it's actually.
But do you think now the way it started? What I heard from someone is that it started because of labs and hunting dogs. Is there any truth to that? Giving them something to do in the off season or something like that. Is there any truth to that?
Maybe.
You never heard that?
I don't pay attention to that stuff. Here's the odd part. See, I was right. I didn't know it for sure, but it's a whippet.
A whippet?
Yep, 30 feet 9. Lap dog, just so we give a shout out to the lap dogs, is a mixed dog, actually. 24 foot 9. That's whatever that dog measures, I don't know it off my
Well, that whippet's not very big either, though.
No, whippets are not very big, but boy, they're nice dogs to
A
watch.
whippet jumped 30 feet 9.
Yeah.
A whippet's probably like, gosh, I haven't seen one in a while. They're like 30 pounds, probably, huh? It's a smaller
Yeah.
greyhound-looking type dog.
Sighthound, yeah.
Not as small as an Italian greyhound. Bigger than that.
Right.
30.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
You realize the crap I'm going to get that I had to look that up.
Yeah, well, that won't happen
The
again.
good news is it changed in the past 9 months, I want to say.
What changed in the past 9
That
months?
the actual record beforehand, which I had memorized.
It was 9 months ago, man.
I know. A lot has
I
happened.
thought you were going to say like last
lot has
Wednesday
happened.
or something like
It'd be
that.
nice. Let's say it was last Wednesday. We filmed this a year ago,
Yeah,
right?
there you go.
I'll go
There
with
you go.
that. That way I don't get fired.
No, that's pretty, but seriously, 30 foot 9 is super impressive.
It is.
Yeah.
And actually, probably the biggest I seen jump was 30 feet. And when I seen that, and I watch a lot of dogs jump. I was like, holy cow.
What kind of dog was that?
That was a Malinois named Liam I'd watched.
Okay,
Yep.
okay. Who is there a certain breed that I mean, you'd think labs, you know?
I mean, it boils down to the dogs. I mean, we see like some of these field labs that are just, they're unbelievable. Malinois obviously are getting out there. Whippets.
Yeah. A lot of whippets? Like
not a lot, but boy, when you see them, they're pretty cool to watch. That stride that they got is just, it's something. It's
very
cool.
efficient dog.
Yep.
Yeah. We have a dog here right now who's. It's interesting, you know. That's an interesting thing about your sport it's strictly physical.
Yep.
I mean, of course, you need mental drive.
I was going to say you got to have some drive, yes.
But physical is going to change things. Do you notice anything across the board in terms of how a dog is built? If it affects, like, say for example, I mean, obviously, I would assume a dog with longer legs is going to be able to jump farther than a dog with shorter legs.
It's not necessarily true.
Well, I mean, a basset hound's not going to be able to, right?
I know a corgi that can jump pretty far.
How far for a corgi?
Boy, I can't remember how far, but when you watch these smaller dogs jump and, they even pull out 15 feet, you're like, holy cow.
Could a corgi pull out 15 feet, you think?
I want to say Chrome has done that. That's who I know, a friend of mine.
15 feet for a corgi.
I should actually...
See, so that's what is interesting. I would just assume that a little dog like that with little legs is not going to be able to jump very far.
You would be mistook.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that what I've kind of noticed is I've gone from, you watch these dogs that jump big and you're like, holy cow. Mm-hmm. And although they're totally impressive, boy, when I see a little dog that just gives it 150%, I sit there and go, man, that is impressive. Because if you'd put it in comparison.
Oh, yeah. It's like weight pull. Sometimes you see Patterdales that pull. The amount of weight they pull is absolutely insane. And then you times their own body weight kind of thing is how they end up kind of calculating that. And it's nuts. But yeah, I just wouldn't naturally assume a dog with shorter legs isn't going to get anything.
Yeah, that ain't necessarily the case.
The other thing about it that's pretty cool is it's relatively safe, right? I mean, what are some of the potential, because whenever, at least for me, I don't know about everybody else, but whenever I'm doing anything with my dog, I'm concerned of injury because injury ends all activity.
Right.
So are there any injuries what's cold tail?
Maybe? Cold tails, one you might see quite a bit.
Yeah. Not quite a bit, but more than any other.
Yeah, more than anything that I've seen.
Which is cold tail is like a sprain.
It's basically a sprained tail.
Spraining of the
tail.
tail.
You just notice it because all of a sudden their tail's just hanging.
They hang their tail real low. So everybody at home, if you ever notice your dog after swimming is hanging its tail low like it's uncomfortable, it has sprained its tail.
Yeah, and what's weird is that like all dogs act differently about it.
Cold tail?
Yeah. I mean, some dogs will get it and they'll be just like, oh, it's Tuesday.
Yeah.
Other dogs would be more like me. They're just giant babies and they are like, whoa, you know. And
don't want to go in the water after that or something. Yeah.
Some dogs, can get kind of a mental thing. It's almost like they remember that it happened and they're like, that's a little bit more cautious.
That was my experience.
Yeah.
Because what I used to do, I never had a dock, but my last dog swam pretty good and I would go down to the river and throw. And he would just launch off the shore and loved it and loved it and loved it and swam so good. And then the next year I took him back. We have winter here. I took him back and after one of the jumps, he came out and his tail was like that. And I thought, oh my gosh, what is this? And it was Donna Mady who actually told me what it was. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, no big deal. And then a month later I took him and he never swam the same again.
Yeah.
He swam like upright after that. So what else? Anything else you can see?
Well, leg injuries.
Like ACLs and stuff like that?
And I mean, it's a sport.
It's physical activity.
Yeah. You could leave your dog sitting on a couch.
Yeah. But relatively, though, the reason I like it is it's low impact.
Right.
I love jumping.
Yeah.
It's water. So in cold tail, where I guess what you're saying is mentally and it can affect dogs differently, some more extreme than others. Yep. But it is, I've dealt with it on a number of occasions now, and it goes away after a few days or something, and the dog's fine, and there's no residual effects, seemingly. So that's for me, at least, being the paranoid freak that I am about the dog getting hurt.
Right.
I'll accept that. So otherwise, in torn ACLs, I mean, that's something we're going to talk to other people about quite a bit, because it's it almost seems like it's either it's growing where more dogs are tearing their ACLs, or we just weren't aware of how many dogs were tearing their ACLs.
Right. And I mean, I think that some of it is probably just based, and this is just solely my guess, we take these dogs and expect them to do all these different things, whether it be lure coursing, dock diving, any other numerous sport where they're running, they're jumping, they're, if they're not warmed up, if they're not, they got to be treated like anybody else, taking them to the chiropractor, getting them adjusted, massages.
Yeah. How about warm-ups? Do you do any kind of warm-ups?
So I just basically, take and get my dog out, run him around a little bit, and try to keep him warmed up. It's a little harder to do when it's cold outside.
Sure.
But you don't just, and, the sad part is sometimes it's just, I get a chance to jump my dog and I might rush it a little more than I should.
Sure.
But you're taking a chance.
The other thing that is probably a bit stifling is that there's usually like a lineup.
Yeah.
So you're
just sitting there.
So so you got to try to keep them warm. I mean, usually the dog is pumped, at least with the events I've seen, so they're internally kind of warm that way.
Definitely warmed up.
But again, as far as the different things we can do, at least from the world that, we're not talking about, obedience, if you're just doing obedience, like, rally or whatever, your chances of injury are not much. But the reality is, for us training obedience here, we always reward our dogs, and we reward them with a ball. And again, when I throw a ball, I throw it really carefully because I always think that something could happen. So you're just as, the risks are always high.
Oh, they are.
For those
like I
types of
said,
things.
you can leave a dog sit on the couch and do nothing with it, or you can go out and enjoy yourself and the dog together and have fun.
Yeah. So, but you would suggest or even stress that people warm their dogs up to some.
Don't just bring them and go, oh, here we go,
Let's
and hope
jump.
they're going to jump 30 feet. I mean, anybody.
Think about you. If it's like me getting you off this chair right now,
right,
say,
right
long
now
jump
it'd be
right
tough.
Now. Yeah. You don't even want to get up, let
I was
alone
gonna
do
say,
a long
right.
jump.
Yeah.
No matter what I throw in front of you, So it is kind of the same thing. But yeah, the dogs can. You remember Dominique, the French guy?
Yep.
He was really adamant about not only warming up properly, like tugging and stretching the neck while you're tugging and stuff, and then also cooling down after a hard workout, making sure you didn't go put your dog, after your dog has just exerted all this stuff, go and stick the dog in the crate where it's going to just be in a ball, and lactic acid is going to build up and things like that. So it is important, and if you're doing any kind of physical exercise.
Well, and the thing is, you do see a lot of the people, they're doing their best. They're doing what their version of the best is. Nobody's right, nobody's wrong, but at least they're doing something to try to lessen a chance of an injury. So that's...
Yeah. It's stifling. I mean, it's the end of it.
Right.
And especially when you're talking about long jumping.
Yeah.
It's kind of a career-ending deal.
Some cases, yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody wants that.
So I know you mentioned, so now because you guys are joined with AKC, they can get their titles probably printed on they can get it on their pedigrees and things like that, potentially. So, but other than that, there's not really, you can win, obviously.
Well,
but it's
at nationals.
But otherwise it's at nationals
or
you can win, or you can win it, but you can win a match, right?
No, there's really. I mean, you're when you just come to a regular event, you're either working on trying to get a title, having fun with your dog, all the above. There's no real.
What does it take to get a title? Sorry to cut you.
So with us, it's 5 scored jumps in the same division. So my dog jumps 5 times, 5 splashes in novice.
Yeah.
I get a novice title.
If your dog jumps 5 splashes in expert, he gets an expert title.
Elite, yes.
Yeah, elite, sorry. So it's funny because the thing I've had a lot of bike grief, and hopefully my bike grief will never be part of this podcast, but it's been extremely upsetting. And my bike is called the Elite, and the other bike that I'm trying to figure this whole nonsense out with is called the Expert. So I'm like,
we'll go with Elite though.
Now I'm all upset because of the bike thing. Hang on. Here we are. Okay, back to here. So, is there a time frame? So, do I have to make 5 splashes within a year?
No. If you come and do it tomorrow, a year from now, you come and get another leg. Mm-hmm. It's 5, period. And then on them you can build on.
Now, if I am going to jump in novice 5 times and I get my novice title, can I stay in novice, or do I have to move up to
No,
whatever?
and the biggest thing is, I mean, a lot of people want a title, you know. I mean, everybody does. When dogs first start, their first 5 might be in novice.
Mm-hmm.
Then as they progress and get more confident, they might hit junior, senior.
Yeah.
The thing is that the biggest title is always going to be the one that matters.
Sure.
So if you know, and I tell this to people a lot, they'll come out and their dog will jump and they'll get, let's say, 4 legs in novice and they'll get 1 in junior. They'll be like, oh, I want to get my title. You know what? 1, your dog's progressing, and 2, you're going to get a title. You're going to. If you stick with it, you're going to get it.
So some people would not finish that novice title. They
might not, right?
They jump right into junior as quick as they
Yep.
can.
I
suppose,
mean,
especially if you're on like your second or third dog,
if it's whatever your dog is going to put out, you
and
know?
you feel like you've got experience, and you, so it's getting like that,
Right.
Yeah, because I know with Ring, I always felt and said, like, you know, Ring 1 and 2 are just in brevet and stuff. It's just there's nothing until Ring 3. Like, no offense, but it's like anything else. It's just until you're in Ring 3, it's nothing. So I could see where some people would think, okay, well, because I would assume that now, because it's such a hot sport and it's growing, you've got competitors who are actively seeking dogs, prospects, from jumping lineage, or they're raising them a certain way.
I mean, they're breeding dogs that are going to jump further, jump bigger.
Yeah, so they're trying to advance this whole thing.
Yep.
So I could see where they go, all right, I just need to get to elite as quickly as I can so I can go play with the big boys kind of thing, right? So I could see that. But my question is, the novice and all that stuff, that's all distance.
Yep.
So if my dog is only capable of jumping 13 feet, I'm going to be a novice. No, I'm going to be in junior
Yep.
for the career of the dog.
Yeah.
And I'll always go and compete in junior splashes. So there's no pressure to move up.
No.
It's just if it's available to you, you can.
And this is the thing I always tell people. I mean, when I actually am judging a dog and I see the dog actually look at the measuring tape to try to get a little further and tuck their butt in, you know, like they care how far they're jumping, that's when I'll realize that it matters.
Wow.
I mean, it matters to us, you know.
Yeah.
It don't matter to the dog. Dogs are smiling just as much jumping 9 feet as they are 20.
Yeah,
You know,
they're happy.
They're not having less fun.
But it's fun that if they figure out what it is to, you know, like horses, like race horses. You know, I mean, the thing about race horses, I think they would like race each other.
Yeah.
I think that was part of it. But still, if a dog is consciously trying to get further because of something
Right.
communicated that to them somehow, that, all right, I need to just try as hard as I can to get further, then, I mean, that's pretty special. That's a pretty cool effect.
I guess my biggest thing is, and it's probably just me, I'm not a competitive person.
Yeah.
Is that I just want every dog to be enjoying doing it, and I want them to do the best they can do.
Yeah.
You know, you don't want to see sandbagging where somebody's like trying to purposefully hold their dog back, you know, because they want to get a title.
Do people do that?
It's happened.
How do you crappy throw?
Well, I'm not going to promote it by telling you.
No,
I'm
but I
just
mean,
saying
how it's, yeah.
it can happen.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
So can you explain to me why someone would do that?
They want to finish a title. They want to make sure their dog qualifies in a certain division. They want to.
So they know their
whatever.
dog could be in the senior
Right.
division,
Right.
but instead they're trying to hang out and and win this lower
Right.
division.
And it's actually a huge no-no with North America diving dogs.
Sure. So it's like, yeah, I get it. Okay.
I mean, that's the thing. Why not just let your dog do what your dog is going to do?
Well, because
That's my
unfortunately, Steve, at the end of the day, the nature of competition is very, very motivating
get that,
factor.
but-
I mean, we've seen it all. That's why, you know, the dog show thing, you know, sorry, when I got into it, which was, again, just a couple of years and a few shows, they said, you know, it's political. I'm like, well, why can't I just go out and handle the dog? And they're like, well, you don't know what you're doing. And I'm like, yeah, but I get dogs and I know what you're looking for and my dog's good. And, you know, I said, why can't I just do it? Well, it's political. The more handlers they see at a show, the more they're going to...
I get the competitiveness of it. I do. But on the other hand,
Well, it's not for you. See, me and you are the same that way.
Right.
And I did the same thing. I had one dog I competed with, pretty much.
Yep.
And after that, I just like to train and I like to help other people. But I don't personally like the stress of competition, nor do I like all the rigmarole that goes around with
Right.
having to get there in the hotels and park and, like where are you from the field and what time do you go up and how's your dog feeling and all this kind of stuff. I'm, maybe at some point I'll do it again, but I'm not that way either. But there are people like Dave Croyer, who you guys have, if you've been following this, he's, now racing mountain bikes. He's driven to compete.
Yeah,
he just loves to compete. And all those other factors that make me not want to compete, including for me risk factors with with the dog getting injured. I just don't want a dog to get injured, and it's risky for me. So, but some people are just so crazy about competition and winning, and that's great. I think it's wonderful that people have a motivating factor.
Yeah, I do too.
But it can also, in my experience, can make a beautiful thing not so beautiful.
Well,
sometimes.
That's the thing. If you're going out there and you want to compete and you want to be the best, you need to go out there and give it your all. Not hold the dog back to be good in a division or good in a certain set of. I personally believe you should just take it as far as your dog can take it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's a good opinion to have. Yeah,
right.
It's a good opinion. Yeah, but the interesting thing is that with this sport, that's cool is that the reality is if me and you are competing against each other, meaning even though we're friends, technically we're competing against each other because both of our dogs are the same size or within are jumping in the same division. So, but the cool part is that there's nothing your jump will do to affect my jump.
Right, exactly.
Whereas in other elements of dog things, there's other factors that can affect your performance or your result or whatever.
Yep.
And in this particular sport, it's pretty safe that way. It really falls down on you and, how it's going in the dog you have and how you've decided to manipulate drive and things like that, making sure the dog has stayed healthy.
Oh, yeah.
If someone's dog had tweaked their knee, they're going to be playing catch up for the rest of the season, and then they're going to feel the pressure from that, and then, of course, their dog's going to hurt themselves even more, and then they feel the pressure from that, and it can become... you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this is stuff that we see with competitive dog sports, and this is a competitive dog sport. It's just... it's cool because anybody can try it at any time.
Yeah.
You can just go try it. And if your dog doesn't jump, you can always go home and, build a $20,000 pool and a dog, right?
You can always just wing
be
it.
like you, right? Go, gosh, my dog doesn't do that. I'm going to go put a big, huge blue pool in the middle of my beautiful lawn with a huge deck or dock. Sorry.
I've enjoyed every minute of it.
No, I know. Well, it turned out, to be such a great thing for you. So what's going on in the future here? What do you got cooking? Where are you at? So you're leaving. So you're here. You're back home. You're from Wisconsin
for a day.
You grew up in Wisconsin. Yep. And you've had dogs for a long time and all that kind of stuff. But I'm more interested in the people who haven't gotten to meet you yet at these events, getting to know you a little bit. And then also our people, our Red Star people, and whoever else is out there listening. I certainly haven't talked about dock diving too much. And I know everybody knows what it is because we see it around all the time, but it's just like anything else. When you observe it from a distance, you go, what is actually going on over there? Like, I see the dogs jumping in the water, but I mean, how is this? What is it? Same thing as when I went to see you. I was standing on the other side of the pool looking and, watching you watch the jumps and all that kind of stuff. It was really interesting.
One thing is, though, is that I would say, well, at least the people I talk to, they come and just said, I heard it was here. I want to watch it. And they all are just like in awe. Little dog, big dog, jumping far, jumping short. I mean, it's a fun thing to watch. Yeah,
and the dog does have to do this. They have to, it's cool because there's more to it than just the dog jumping in the water. The dog has to overcome stress, first of all. And then they have to, and then not to mention, like I went to a couple events and it was a touch chaotic. So the dog has to deal with all the stress of this and then get up there and have a good jump. And it's, it's just, there's a lot of factors that you don't really think about rather than just launching your dog into the water. But it's a cool sport because It is what you make of it.
Yep.
So in AKC or in like obedience or anything else, if you don't put in your work, you're gonna lose it. You're not just gonna fail. You're not gonna be the worst on the roster, but your dog's not gonna perform at all. Whereas in this, if as long as your dog jumps, you get to the point where your dog's jumping, you just have a good time and do whatever you want, and then the individual personality will take over and become competitive or become just out there to have a great time.
And people do.
Yeah.
And the dogs do.
Yeah, well, what I saw, it seemed like it.
Yeah.
And then, so how much are now? I know you're trying to find a home for your stationary pool right now, which has been
We were there and it got pulled right out from underneath us, but we are looking for a place to put it indoors.
In the Twin City metro area.
Yep, so that we do have a place year round that people can come, train, just swim their dogs. I mean, wintertime up here is cold.
Yeah.
People don't want to go outside. People don't want to do a whole lot with their dogs.
No.
And it's just, it'll give them somewhere to get to just swim. I mean, just swimming is good.
Swimming is like the best form of exercise ever.
Yep.
It's totally low impact. It's, equal motion. Swimming is the greatest. And obviously you can swim your dog for a long time without risking anything because the cooler water keeps their temperature down. It's such a good thing. And like you said here, I mean, forget about swimming for a second. Nobody even walks out to get the mail in January.
Right. This is crap. I'm not going out there.
And of course, here we are now. This is April. We're tail end of April. And
I was doubting it there for a little while.
I know. It's been a rough one for us here. But this is what I'm hearing on the phone now with people calling. They're like, I'm sorry, but it's been such a long winter, and we've just been holed up here, and the dog is frustrated and started doing this, or they started doing this, or started doing this because there's no outlet. So hopefully, before we talk about what you have on the horizon, let's tell people real quick how to find you right now, and we'll also plug it at the end. But if people have questions for you, or if they're curious of your organization or your schedule or any of these things, where can they go to find this stuff?
So either you can go on the North American Diving Dogs website.
Okay.
That'll tell you where every event is that we have going on. It'll tell you every facility we have across the country, the mobile docks where they're going to be at.
That's NorthAmericanDivingDogs.com.
North America Diving Dogs.
North America Diving Dogs. Yep. Okay, very important.
I am the North Central dock.
Okay.
Which, of course, I got to say is the coolest one, but that's just because I'm there.
Because you're there, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But no, that's probably the easiest way. Otherwise, like me, my personal pool is the dog tank, and anybody can email me at steve@thedogtank.com.
And do you have a website for that?
Yep.
The Dog Tank?
Thedogtank.com.
Thedogtank.com.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you can also, you're on Facebook.
Yep, Facebook, Instagram.
Dog Tank?
Yep.
Dog Tank Facebook, Dog Tank Instagram. Are you tweeting? You on Twitter?
I don't tweet.
You don't tweet?
I think I have a tweet account. Twitter account? What is it called?
Yeah,
I don't do it though.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys who mess that up and say out there twittering every day.
Yep.
I'm not out there twittering. No, I don't really do that either. But that's good because all these people, they're going to need to find you if they want to just know what's going on.
Yep. And I would tell people, follow the page because when the location that's meant to be happens, it's going to be plastered all over the place.
Okay. So tell us, what do you got going on now? What's going on for the spring and summer here?
Let's see. I'm going to St. Louis tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
St. Charles. And it's called Woof for Wellness, and that's an event I'm doing for Eukanuba and Royal Canin.
Okay.
It's going to be in a park with a bunch of other stuff. Updog is going to be there.
What's Updog?
Updog is a frisbee sport.
Yep, that's what I thought. Okay.
Yeah, really cool.
Yep.
That's going to be there. Then from there, I might come home for maybe a week, and then I hit the East Coast for a month. I go to Winchester, Virginia, Long Island, New York, actually Oyster Bay, New York. Mm-hmm. I'm doing an event in Newcastle, Pennsylvania, and boy, I don't know. It's hard to keep track of my schedule. I just got to look at the calendar.
Yeah, if you look, yeah.
But I mean, I'm basically all.
You're gone all the time, but you love it.
I do.
You love
quit a
people.
30-year plumbing career to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's.
Yeah, it was a good, but you had a nice. I mean, this is. I'm sure you enjoy this a lot more.
I do.
But you had a good job and you did all this kind of stuff. That's why we all said, Steve, what are you doing?
Right. Not so bright, but everybody knew I wasn't that bright to begin with. So.
Well, no, you're bright. You were taking a giant chance. And the cool thing though, Steve, is that obviously, we're super happy for you, and I love seeing. I got to see you do some of what you do last year.
Right.
Was it last summer? Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely loved it. I'm so happy for you. But also the cool thing is by doing what you did, you created this opportunity for all these people in our area, at least for the last couple of years.
Yep.
And you're also creating more opportunity for all these people who are going to these shows because there's not a lot of people, like you said, there's not a lot of people who do it. The sport is rising fast because it's accessible, it's safe. You don't have to train night and day to get out and participate. It's as difficult as you want to make it.
Right.
But there's still not a lot of it going on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean,
like you said, no, okay, so here we are, we're in the Twin City metro area. I want to go jump my dog right now. Now, obviously, we don't have a home for your pool, and you're in Timbuktu, whatever. Where am I going to go to jump from where I am right now in the Twin Cities? Mankato?
Yeah, you can go to Mankato or otherwise the other side of the state.
Of Wisconsin.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I can go to the Twin Cities and find 45 rally clubs or somebody does rally beatings. I can probably find 20 trainers who do agility. And obviously, location is huge because you need this huge pool.
That's what I mean.
in
That's
this
the difficult part. I mean, you can't just, we basically, when we call out area at an event, we ask for 30 by 100 that you need.
30 feet wide by 100 feet
Yep.
long.
Then you basically need access to water. Obviously, 28,000 gallons is what it takes to fill that pool up.
Wow.
Yeah.
28,000
It's,
gallons.
you know, it's not to give up that much space. You have to have other things going with it.
That's where you get these cluster shows.
Right. But I'm saying as far as like putting up a facility. So that's the tough part.
Yeah.
You know, I totally get it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to give up.
No, you'll find a place.
It'll happen.
Yeah. It will eventually. Just
Yep.
keep plugging away.
Yeah.
You're a good guy. It's a good product. It's a good thing. And like you said, you know, I mean, I was with you when the pool was in Menominee. And actually, Irina and I went out to eat at that cute little coffee shop kind of place right down the road from there. And the woman behind the counter was asking, "What's going on down there?" And he said, "Oh, it's dock diving, and you know, are there people from?" I said, "Are there people from the Twin City?" And I said, "Yeah, there's people from probably Chicago and here and all over the place." And her eyes just lit up because the thing is, it's when you bring these events, these fun events. It helps the community.
Yeah.
It
does.
really does help everybody.
It's huge.
Yeah.
You know, we had events. We were bringing people in from Massachusetts, Texas, Oklahoma. I mean, one lady was coming from Colorado. She's like, "Oh, I got a family reunion, but I'm going to quick do some jumps."
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it does. It brings people in. And, you know, the city that we had gotten lined up with here the second time, we went in and told them what we were going to do, and they were just like, "Holy cow, yeah, we want you," you know, and it was sad that the situation didn't work, but that's what you got to find. You got to find a city that's just going to be like all about it.
Well, you have a pool, you know, that's the thing is there's water involved and there's safety involved because they don't want somebody jumping in the pool and they're not supposed to be there and stuff like it's more complicated. And then of course you have the business and you have how many people are coming in and out, but you know, the reality is somebody will grab onto that and see and realize the potential and the possibilities in their community and it'll happen. It's just going to take a little time. It's
a little patience.
It's frustrating, but it's okay. You got enough on your plate right now, it
yeah.
sounds like, right?
Yeah.
You're gone all the time.
I am, but you know, I had a woman that was running it when I was gone, and when I got home, I'd let everybody know, and you know, we'd book time together, and I'd get my events scheduled in my time that I wasn't off jumping somewhere else.
Yeah, so you can
just made it a little more difficult, but we got the ability to make it work.
Okay, so you're going to do it.
Oh, yeah.
All right, Steve Powell.
All right, sir.
That's it, man. Wasn't so
Thanks,
bad,
buddy.
was it?
Not too bad.
No, Steve is always, you know, he's in front of hundreds and thousands of people. And in that situation,
maybe 10.
He's a perfect natural. Like, Wayne Newton has nothing on this guy.
Right.
But this up close and personal, you know. No,
It was
thanks
a
for
little bit
being
easier.
here.
Thanks for having
We'll
me.
have you back again real
Cool.
soon. Probably after this season plays out, so you can tell us all the
See
new
how I
things
did,
that's
yeah.
going on. Oh, you're going to do fine. This is your third season again.
Yep.
Yeah. So again, you guys, Steve's information will be at the end of this interview, but you can find him on Facebook at the Dog Tank, Instagram the Dog Tank. You're affiliated with North America Dogs.
Diving dogs.
North America
Diving dogs.
North America not Ken.
Diving
North America
Dogs.
Diving Dogs.
Yes, sir.
.com.
Yep.
And that's where they can find you.
Yep.
Come into a town near you,
Right.
somewhere,
At least in the north central, which is basically Colorado to Maryland.
and then you're gonna be out and about up
Might
in
go up to
Toronto.
Canada here, we'll
yeah,
see.
which is gonna be fantastic. You know, big and actually good, strong dog culture there too. Obviously, Canada, there's not as many people, but
Right.
the people who train and the people who are. I've been up there every time I've been there. It's with the exception of the first 2 times for music. I was up there for a dog event, for either a dog show or a trial.
Yep.
You know, for a couple times, and it was just aces. Love the people. Love the. It's just as soon as you get out of your truck. I was going to say
Right.
step off the plane, but as soon as
Right.
you get out of your truck,
Yeah,
you're
I
just
won't be
gonna-
flying. That's
no.
a little rough.
Yeah, you can't fly the pool. Well, you wouldn't bring the pool.
No, I probably would. I don't foresee me going up there with the pool. And maybe I
Winnipeg-
won't have to go up there, but
We'll see.
I hope I get to because the people are excited about it, and so are we.
I would make it happen, and I would, if it were me, I would too. I would just say, bring that stuff to the people who want to
Yep.
experience it. And Winnipeg, it's way out in the middle of nowhere. It's not a fun drive, but it's a huge town, and there's tons of people, and there's a lot of action, and I'm sure they've never had anything like that there. So there's all kinds of possibilities
Sure.
in the future. So
Perfect.
great, man.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Steve. Steve Powell, ladies and gentlemen. It's been great to have him on. Check us out next time. I don't know what we got planned for the next one. Alex will be back again. Sends his regards. Couldn't
Cool.
be here. He's in class. But Alex is also a friend of ours. You guys have met Alex. So great. Thanks for coming on. And,
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I'll see you at the wedding.
Yeah. All right.
It'll be great. Okay, guys.
Sounds good.
Take care. Thanks for
Bye.
watching.